I'm pretty excited about what I am about to show you. I recently had my mind blown by an audience member on our channel. It was at CHP Tech. Said, hey, by the way, you know your phone is a manometer, right? And I was like, that's very sweet. No, it's not. Not the kind that I'm talking about. And he said, actually, it can detect a 1 foot change in altitude. Download this app, Phyphox. It stands for Physical Phone Experiments. What this app does is give you access to all of the sensors inside of your phone, the raw sensor, so that you can do whatever you want with them. Apps use these sensors, like the weather app or the, I don't know, whatever, the accelerometer and things like that for gaming or whatever it is that they, the developer decides. But if you want to be able to do cool stuff with it, you can open up, for example, the pressure sensor inside the phone. Now I have next to it here, this is an iPhone 13 Pro, so not the newest model. I can't imagine that they're like upgrading these things all the time. There's so many different sensors, obviously, inside of this machine. What I'm going to compare it to here is the DM32X, one of the top of the line. There's also the Energy Conservatory DG1000, which doesn't have this one feature that I'm going to use today. So here is the graphing function on the DM32. The graphing function on Phyphox, if I go into the little option menu here inside of the pressure sensor, I can enable remote access, and I can monitor the thing and activate it actually via the computer. So now I'm able to see that we have, I'm not touching this phone right now, but you can see that the number is changing. So we have something that looks like it's actually going through a curve. So there's pressure stuff happening with this phone, and I'm not touching it, I'm not breathing on it. If you look at this graph, that's a totally flat line. The very beginning of what we're talking about here is that each of these, this TEC DG8 and this Retrotech Solo, these all are 2-port or differential manometers. These two nipples right here. If I press on this one, you can see the number jumps one way. If I press on this one, you can see it jumps the other way, polarity-wise, positive or negative. Same thing happens over here. And then the same thing will happen on this one. And I can make this go positive, and I can make it go negative. And so what this one is doing, this is an absolute manometer, an absolute pressure gauge. What it is comparing to, like all of these are, you compare an input, which is generally the plus sign, to a reference, which is the minus sign. This one right here is comparing the pressure of a sensor, wherever that sensor is, I'm imagining down by the microphone, to a closed capsule, basically a little chamber that is always the same. So each of these requires an anchor to measure against, because you're always measuring the pressure in something with reference to something else. In this case, this is the only manometer that has its anchor never changing. It's a locked, closed capsule. So that's why we're seeing this weird graph that keeps on changing, even though all the rest of these are flatlined at 0. So before you buy one of these for several $100s, let's explore what your phone can do. And I'm going to use this one as the reference because it has this graphing feature. Neither of the other ones has the graph. What I can do to make this graph start to look like this one is to connect it to an anchor now. So what I'm going to do is measure the pressure in this room with reference to outside. So this red hose is going outside the house. And now you can see that we have started changing stuff. We have -17. I'm going to go ahead and clear this out. Start again. The Phyphox is measuring in hectopascals, which is 100 pascals at a time. It's also, because it's absolute, it's measuring atmospheric pressure. So we've got something like 980 something is what you're going to see generally whenever you're using this, wherever you are. Right now, at this very moment, we're at 981.50. In order to convert over into pascals, I just basically move. First of all, I need to zero out this 981.5 and call that 0. Then each 0.01 difference is a difference of 1 pascal. So now I can start to actually see how much of a difference this will make. One of the things that I'd like to just show you real quick that made the difference for me is when the guy said, by the way, it can sense when the phone goes up or down in altitude 1 foot. So right now, if I raise this, the pressure will go down. So I'm going to bring it up 1 foot. And you can see that our pressure just dropped because that 1 foot change in elevation. Now I'm gonna bring it back down again and the pressure will come back up as it gets closer to sea level because denser air is higher pressure, the lower the air is. Pretty impressive. That was the thing that I was like, oh, this is amazing. So then I used this to do this exact experiment with, and this is why I'm making this video, is to caution you to say, hey, before you go buy these, use this thing first, and you can do all kinds of different tests with this. I'm about to run this test just to make the point, but what I'd like you to do as I'm doing this is think about other tests you would like to see run with this, and I can true it up against an actual, over $1,000 pressure gauge to see what the difference is, how realistic it can be. So I'm gonna go kick on my makeup air system and we'll watch what this does. I kicked on the kitchen hood, not the makeup air system, I misspoke. Kitchen hood is on max. We got all the way down to negative 60 something. Now the makeup air system, as I've described in prior videos, several of them, makeup system lags behind a little bit. And now we're bringing us back up to where we started out at, which should be somewhere around 0. I have to clean my duct still. I have not gotten around to that. So this number should end up at around 0. And you can see on both of the graphs now that we've gone down into this pit and we've returned basically to where we began. I think that this is a very usably accurate tool. The easiest way that you could use this right now is to do HVAC pressure effects testing around your house. You want to know what the baseline is, set it down inside of a room. When the HVAC is running, close the door, see what happens inside the room. So you would need to either be in the room with it or be running this and be, for some reason, in the hallway with your computer while you're recording this. You can export this whole file that we are recording right now, not just as a video, which I'm doing, but also as an actual data sheet in Excel kind of thing. So I think that this is something that's worth exploring. If you want to be able to do pressure testing right now, go ahead and start using this right now. Again, the app is called Phyphox, Phyphox, Physical Phone Experiments. There's no reason that everyone shouldn't have this. If you're watching this channel, go get this. It's apparently on both iOS and on Android. So I hope that this has been interesting to you. Please do, again, post comments of different experiments that you'd like to see done, because that's what this channel is a conversation between me and my clients and the people who watch this channel and talking about how we can make homes better and tune them better. Like, subscribe, tune in next time.